views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to Spiritual-Diagnostics-Radio. Psychic answers and spiritual solutions with psychic visionary and vibrational healers Dorian and Justice Welling, where you can call in and ask about your chakras, aura, and spiritual DNA. Tune in and discover the energy that is contradictive to your path of wholeness. Get ready to meet the most important person in your life, you.
Well, hello, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here today. This is your host, Carol Dorian.
And this is your host, Justice Welling. On today's show, Go ahead, Carol.
I was just going to say, so Justice, what are we going to be talking about? But that's okay. Go ahead.
I think we're going to keep fighting over our wonderful topic today because we're so intensifiedly excited to hurry up and get into it.
I know, right?
So today we're talking about divorcing our past, clearing up that past energy, getting rid of those things that we hang on to from our past that we continuously bring into our present.
You know, when you talk about divorcing the past, I love to call it divorcing the past because, you know, it is a severing and ending of energy and connection to the past. And that's what we all need. We need that severing. We need that ending. And that's not to say that everything from the past should not be included. Some of us have had some amazing, wonderful experiences in our past that have propelled us to move forward in so many ways in the present, even though some of those experiences may have even been hurtful or disappointing.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes, I know everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
And sometimes it's just that whole matter of discerning the portions of energy and the experiences that are not supportive and that do not propel us to move forward. Discerning the portions that keep us stagnant versus the portions that we do need to keep, that are the experiences that propel us, elevate us, and help us to evolve.
I mean, I personally have brought some energy, confusion, and issues from a past relationship into my current relationships. And I think we kind of all have been there, where you're trying to filter the past or some of that negativity or disappointment or issues that you've had in a past relationship when you start a new one. But, you know, we're not supposed to do that. But it's hard to leave the past relationships in the past, the past energy in the past. It's hard to do when we start a new relationship and a new journey with someone new. But sometimes it's not easy to forget the lessons that we've learned and the damages that have been made, the confusion or the uncertainty that we have experienced. It's hard to leave all the experiences in the past, whether they're negative or positive. Sometimes you don't even want to bring the positive ones because it's reminding you of that person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's an amazing point. Sometimes we actually do not want to bring in the positive experiences of the past because sometimes we're hurt because of how that situation turned out.
Absolutely. Or even if we're repeating a pattern that's positive, we're not repeating it with the same person. And it's hard to start fresh with a new person. Sometimes it's good to bring some of our past experiences into a relationship. But again, they all of them are not good, and it's hard whether it's positive or negative. You know, I like when people say, for instance, and this is funny, we talked about this earlier, some people say all women are alike, all men are alike. But
I've heard that. I have heard people say that. Stereotyping us by our sexes.
Absolutely. But I happen to disagree. I feel like a lot of women and a lot of men have a lot of similarities for sure. But I don't feel that we are all the same. But I do feel that we have patterns in the past in a relationship that we do not change. Like, have you been in any type of relationship in the past and feel like, okay, this is over, this is a pattern, you know, whatever has happened, that relationship has ended, right? And so now you start the new relationship, but you feel like you're already starting that relationship on frustration because you're almost anticipating the new person to repeat all the same patterns as the previous person.
Oh, yes. I have definitely encountered that with people that I work with, that they are actually anticipating, as you said, things that have happened. Oh, because this person is doing A, B, or C, that means that the next outcome is going to be a specific outcome that they've already experienced with someone else.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the past person and the person in our present become the same person with a different name, but it's going to be the same outcome and the same experience. That's why it's time to divorce our past and try only to bring good experience from our past into our present, even though that's hard. But it's time to wake up. It's time to realize that each day is a new start and a new beginning. And each relationship is not the same face with a different name, but a new and unique person. And opportunity, we have that opportunity to find out who the new person is and to start a path, journey, and new experience in getting to know this person. Don't you agree?
I totally love it. I love it. A new person, a new experience, a new path, a new endeavor. And, you know, when we talk about it's time to do that, how much does the heart know it? You know, sometimes the heart is so aware of that. The mind is aware of that. But sometimes the aura is resistant. And this is where people get confused. People say, well, if my mind says I'm ready and my heart is desiring to do this so much, to let go and to start new, then why is that not happening? What is going on? I am open. I am different. Some are really stuck in the mold of judging by the past. Then you have people who are so open to the change, so open to everything new, and repeating the same patterns. And this is where the aura is not an analogy. I love to explain to people. For those of you who are listening, your aura is not an analogy. Your aura is an actuality. And it does not always function in synergy with the decisions that you've made and with what your heart is desiring. Sometimes the aura is kind of marching to its own beat, if you will. So that means that if you've drawn in that experience that has been so hurtful, so contradictive to your path, your happiness, and your desires, what can happen is the aura can draw the energy in and hold on to it so tightly that even though the mind is made up and the heart is willing, the aura, imagine a muscle that is locked, completely closed, retaining that experience. And that's where the heart, the mind, and the aura have to be brought together in one awareness at one time to be able to release that energy.
I agree. And we said before in some past shows, it's almost, and I say this like in every show, you have to be in the right place at the right time and have the right energy and the right this and the right that. And it's hard and it's difficult to always, what if I'm not in the right place, or what if I don't have the right energy? And like you're saying, my mind is made up, my heart is willing, but my aura says something else. And it's always like the three has to be in sync. Yes. And sometimes that's difficult, but that's why we're here, is to say, if this is what you're feeling, thinking, wanting, going through, we're here to educate. We're here to tell you there's answers. We're here to tell you that there is guidance and help. And we have so much more to talk about on this topic, but I think we're going to take a short break, and we will be back after this.
Miss any shows during the week? Don't worry, we've got you covered. With the free Transformation Talk Radio app, you'll have access to all of the past week's shows in the palm of your hand. Tune in to Transformation Talk Radio anywhere you go with our free app for any of your devices. Check out our app in the App Store and Google Play Store today.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Discover the healing medicine from the giant monkey tree frog Cambo. Cambo practitioner Ginny Rutherford and professional psychic Todd Rolson have come together for lively discussions of alternative healing medicines from the Amazon. Ginny and Todd bring you Cambo Talk Radio. Tune in each Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear from guests all over the world with real life stories and the medicinal benefits of Cambo. For more information, visit CamboKiss.com.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritual-d.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests. Tune in to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio to harness your connection with the universe to effect change for optimal success and happiness. Named one of the country's top psychics, Eve now brings her insights and gifts to this weekly hit call-in show, joined by visionaries, leaders, and gifted others, but mostly you. Jot it down, Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
And we are back, and you are listening to Spiritual Diagnostics. I am Justice Welling, here with Carol Dorian, and we are talking about divorcing your past. And I love that. I love that word, divorcing your past. I feel so empowered when I say it because I want to divorce my past.
Yeah.
And I know so many of us do. And I love topics that we're so passionate about, and we can relate to. And I just want to give everybody a chance to call in. If you have any questions, comments, are interested in anything that we're saying and want to know more about it, instead of, reading some of these emails, you guys can just call in. It's 1-800-930-2819, or you can give us a call after the show at 312-898-2285, or you could visit us at spiritual-d.com. So, like I was saying earlier, I have definitely brought some energy from my past relationships in my present and current relationships. I have repeated patterns. I have felt that this person from the past did this and said this and thought this. So then this person that I'm currently with is thinking and feeling the exact way that the person from the past is thinking and feeling. But that is a very big mistake, that we make assumptions, we make mistakes in relationships that we assume instead of asking. We trust our doubts more than trust someone else's voice because it's easier. It's always easier to follow negative. It's always easier to listen to doubt instead of truth. It's always easier to believe a lie than to live the truth. But if you're a person who is tired of repeating patterns from your past or living in a pattern of failing relationships, and it seems like not only in relationships, but in every aspect of your life, you're seeing the same type of person, the same type of boss, the same type of coworkers, the same type of energy is always with you, whether you change jobs or relationships, cities and states, it doesn't matter. If you're seeing the same type of energy, it's time to stop and think. Think that maybe you are carrying energy from your past. Maybe it's time to filter it, to take it out, to divorce it. Because if you don't, you will never know what the future holds for you. You will only be repeating the same pattern. Now, I know that what I am saying is not easy to do. But if you have tried and tried to do this and have no success or little success, it's time to think, maybe there's a problem. Maybe this is a problem from your past. Maybe this is a problem that you need to filter. Maybe this is a retention in your aura, like you were saying earlier, Carol. Maybe it's a chakra blockage or imbalance. I mean, the list can go on and on what it could be, but why wonder? You know what I'm saying? That's where we come in. That's where we come in, to educate you on what you have and how to help yourself. How to help yourself attract and manifest the life and the spiritual life that you want.
Absolutely. And when we talk about the past, something else I'd love to shed light on, and I know that our listeners are very spiritually aware. Most of our listeners are, and the people that write to us have so much knowledge, and we have the pleasure of coming into contact with some very evolved people, and I love it. But sometimes no matter how much you know, you need to be reminded of the things that you know. And when it's coming from an objective source and it's coming from somebody outside of your immediate circle, you can receive it on a different level. But what I'd love to shed light on right now is about contracts, soul contracts. There have been people that I have worked with in where the mind, the spirit, and even the aura is ready, but there is a lingering soul contract from the past. Sometimes the past is a past life. Sometimes the past is even just in this lifetime, and it could be a 20-year contract that the soul occurs. It could be a 3-lifetime contract that the soul occurs. And how that works is that even when that contract of that situation, whether it's certain people or certain situations that your contract through your soul says that you will occur to reach a certain level of your being, whether it expires or not, the aura can still be reacting to the prior contract, to a prior tie that is no longer valid. So when people are in that place where you're needing to divorce the past, you're needing to sever that energy, you are needing to settle those contracts and move from those past contracts that are not supposed to be existing at this time, what we do is we find out for you. We help you to find out, where did this contract begin? What is it that you are carrying? What were you supposed to learn from this? What was this supposed to bring you to so that this can be negated, removed, eradicated? Some contracts that have expired, we are still replaying them, following in that pattern. So divorcing, separating, severing, removing oneself from the past, it has to be a conscious decision, and that consciousness goes into soul consciousness, the physical mind consciousness, and then lines up with the auric awareness. The aura saying, the aura becoming ready to facilitate the decisions that you are making. And with spiritual diagnostics, that's what we do. We diagnose the condition of the mind, the body, and the spirit, and find out what it is that's missing from all decisions lining up. And sometimes, for some of you, there may be nothing missing. It's just the awareness that you are on the path, and now it's going to take so much time to unfold, or discovering what it is that has you repeating those patterns of the past.
I love it. I love it so much. You know, we always talk about, Carol, how, you know, the physical and the spiritual are always, you know, intertwined. They're always parallel, you know. And I love when you say, you know, this is what we do here at Spiritual Diagnostics. So we diagnose your spiritual condition. And, you know, we've said it 100 times, and I'm going to say it 101. It's like going to the doctor. It's very simple. If you had a headache, if you had sinuses that never went away, if you continuously had strep throat, you know, if you continuously had a rash or whatever it is, you would seek that medical help, and you would get a diagnosis. And here, when you are dealing with a spiritual situation of repeating patterns or not moving forward, you are going to get a diagnosis so that you can get treated and get educated, you know, get educated on your spiritual condition so that you know what's ahead of you, where spiritually, where have you been, where did you come from, and where are you headed? You know what I'm saying? Because that's very important. That is the most important information, I think. Where have you been and where are you headed? Because it seems like in the present, people know what's happening in their present almost because they're living it, you know, and they could see things that is around them, people's, places, situations, energies, feelings, emotions. But what's in front of you and what's behind you is the reason why you're in the spot that you're in your present. You know, Carol?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, what you've gone through in your past is the result of where you are in your present. And how you're going to handle the present and come to terms with it is definitely going to dictate some outcomes and most outcomes of the future.
Carol, did you just pull a justice there and shorten my saying and make it straight, direct, and to the point?
Yes, I did, because I think you've been pulling a Carol today and taking the scenic route home. But that's okay. I love it.
You know what? We're reversing routes. I need to be justice again.
That'll be good. That's good. That's awesome stuff. But when we talk about, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna tell you about this story. I wanted to tell our listeners about a story. You remember I was telling you earlier. I've had a client that their relationships. She's had a relationship, and we're talking about all types of relationships. I just want to make that clear, not just emotional love and relationships, but all kind of relationships. And she had a relationship with her boss. She worked at a company, and her boss always wanted her to be a certain way and demanded certain types of things from her. And it was very frustrating, stressful. She had a lot of anxiety at that company. And one of the reasons she left is because of her boss. So she started at a new job in a new company, and she went in with the same emotions. She's like, this boss is going to have these expectations. This boss is going to demand these types of things from me. She went in with the same type of thoughts and the same type of anxiety, frustration, uncertainty, insecurities. But that boss was not like that. He was just a normal boss who actually wanted to learn her, teach her, show her things. You know what I'm saying? So it's always what we're saying. We're taking that past even in our careers, even with our jobs and our companies, and we feel like, well, this boss was one way and so demanding and so always so frustrated at me, and it made me feel a certain way. And now that I'm starting this new job, I already have the expectations that this boss is going to be this way. So we are kind of responsible for bringing that energy into a situation that never even held that energy.
Yes, and that's carrying the frequency and the vibration of the situation that we've occurred. Now, I like that you're talking about it on the responsible portion, because there is always a situation where we are responsible and have made a decision. And then there is the flip side to that, to where the aura has made the decision. So it's like when there's one portion, the one that you're describing, is a situation where her mind says, this is what's going to happen. I'm getting ready to go through this again. And then she's actually walking into a fresh situation, bringing in an old vibration. And then there's the situation where the mind says, no, this is new. And you're still bringing in that situation. And that's because the aura has experienced that vibration and has not let it go. So it all comes down to, there's two portions of it. The responsible portion, like I have consciously brought this in, and then there is the aura's consciousness that brings it in. And it's very important to come to that place where, wherever it's happening from, the auric portion or the mind consciousness portion or soul's consciousness portion, to identify what portion of self is bringing in that unwanted pattern, bringing in that same vibrational frequency that you are repeating.
Yeah.
And that's where that divorce comes in.
So now let me ask you a question, Carol, because we got this email earlier this week, and I never got a chance to share it with you. So, and when you're talking about it, it's kind of jogging my memory. I don't remember the exact words. I don't have the email in front of me. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase what this email came in, and what it said was, so when you're talking about the aura, right? and you're talking about, I'm just going to use my words. You're talking about there's something in our aura. So even if we left that person or that job or that situation, because it's still in our aura, it's almost like it's still coming to the surface, correct?
Yes, and there are a few ways that happen. I'll let you finish, and then I'll go into it.
So is it almost like, and this is what made me think of the email, is because someone emailed us talking about a magnet. Like, can the retention in the aura or whatever in our aura, in our energy, is it almost like a magnet? So even though we left that place or that person or that situation, and we've changed paths and we're on in a new job, a new relationship, a new situation, and what's in our aura or energy, is it almost magnetizing? You know what I'm saying? So now I'm trying to magnetize the same situation.
There are times it's like that. The aura does have a few different effects. The aura can be very much like a magnet and start to draw that in. Also, the aura can close up and not have room for anything new to come in because it's so full of the experience that it hasn't dealt with or filtered out. And there's so many reasons that actually happens. So yes, it can close itself off. That's one response. The other response is it absolutely can be a magnet and start pulling that in. And the reason that the aura does that, and I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, is simply familiarity. Even when something is very painful, and even when we're just so desiring to release that, let's face it, we're human beings. We don't like to be uncomfortable. We don't like to go through pain. We want to just get through that, anything uncomfortable as quick as we can.
Sure.
However, even when something is uncomfortable, the familiarity of it sinking into an aura that is unhealthy due to some type of trauma, unreleased energy, or whatever has been received and not filtered, it does draw it back in very much like a magnet, very much drawing what it has been familiar with. Not consciously doing it to repeat the situation. Sometimes in the aura's endeavor to master the situation or override it, it can actually draw the situation back in.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the email was about, because this person is feeling like I left a negative, they don't give a lot of details, so it's like a negative situation, but they feel like that situation is trapped or, retained somewhere in the aura or in their energy, and now it's a magnet, and it's magnetizing to the same exact situation over and over again because it's not being released. And I think that there has been a time or 2 or 10 that each and every one of us has been through that, where there's something that we didn't realize that we were carrying, that we had, that we needed to release, or something maybe we just wasn't ready, or maybe it was too big to release. Like I said, the list can go on and on what it is, and each different, treatment to release it and get rid of it. But we are responsible. We, and it brings me to, something else we were talking about earlier. Most of the time we are creating our own confusion and bringing our own negative energy from the past in our present. Maybe that person was not going to repeat a pattern, or maybe they had a different outlook, but we'll never know until we divorce our past and fix our imbalances, and until we really figure out what is happening or why we're repeating patterns or why we're not divorcing the past. And this is not just as simple as, oh, I want to divorce it, but I don't want to let this person go. Or, I may still want that job or that person. This is going beyond that. This is, I've tried and I can't. You know what I'm saying, Carol?
Oh, absolutely. I have done a lot of work with people, and I cannot stress this enough, that fall into two categories. They either really have the made-up mind and the made-up heart, or they think they do. There's usually no in between. But
right.
what both people have in common, they're desiring a better life. They're desiring peace. They're desiring happiness. And the past is so in front of them in this moment that they cannot even connect to the present, and it's blocking the future. For some people, that past is energetic, and for some people, that past is just consciously, mentally, emotionally. But either way, it does create an energetic response that does need to be released. So in order for somebody to say, I'm going to divorce this, they have to, like we said earlier, come into the place where all portions of self are in agreement. It's kind of like, in a divorce when there's children and people talk about custody and shared custody, we need to redeem custody of ourselves. We have custody of ourselves, but sometimes we've surrendered our custody. We've surrendered the ability to make decisions in this present moment based on the present. The decisions from the present are being made completely by the hurt and trauma of the past, and that is creating the wall that's blocking out the future. So for those of you who are listening to this, if you're at a place where you're like, I don't know which person I am, is my mind made up and my aura is not following suit, or is my aura clear and my mind is not following and my heart is not following suit? Give us a call after the show, 312-898-2285, 312-898-2285, or log on to our site, spiritual-d.com. Find out where you are in reference to your connection to the past. Are you having a healthy connection to the past, an unhealthy connection to the past? Do you need some help in divorcing and clearing energy of the past? We would love to assist you and guide you through that, leading you to the answers through a spiritual diagnostic of what it is that you are carrying and where you're carrying it. Have you cleared it? Are you still in the place that you don't know exactly what it is that you need cleared, but you just know that you're ready to move forward? Whoever and whatever the situation is, you are carrying the answer within yourself. And I say this in most of our shows. We would love to be a catalyst to lead you, a compass to lead you to yourself, uncovering the answers and the solutions that you are carrying. I love, Justice, when you say that we are responsible, even for what we're not aware of. We're still responsible. And responsibility also gives the gift of power. So that means that if I'm responsible to find out what's going on within myself, and if I'm responsible for my decisions, that also means that I have power. I have
absolutely.
Inner strength and power to make changes.
Absolutely. And, I wrote something down, while we were talking, and I'm just, I'm going to read it again because I feel like it was so powerful. I'm going to, and we were just going back and forth earlier in the show and I was jotting it down, and I just want to kind of go over it. I think what I said was I was talking and writing, so I may be confused.
It's okay.
We assume instead of asking. We trust our doubt more than we trust someone else's voice. Why? Because it's easier. It's always easier to follow negative. It's always easier to listen to doubt instead of truth. It's always easier to believe a lie than to live the truth.
Because it's a guarded response. It's if I fall back on this negative experience, this is my guarding response, this is mistaken for a guarded response. This is mistaken for a protection, a protective mechanism. Well, I just won't let this wonderful experience in because it may not be wonderful. I really could get hurt. So that guarded response puts us in that position, whether it's in our mind, our aura, or all components of our being, to say, instead of allowing the experience in, I will not take that risk factor because I can get hurt. And what I'd really like our listeners to be aware of is, even if, and I said this so much throughout the show, even if you feel that you are ready to let something new in and disconnect from that past experience, every portion of yourself needs to be in line with that. And there is a way to line that up. There is a way to send that vibrational frequency of readiness through every portion.
Yes, if you are ready to help yourself to attract and manifest the life and the spiritual life that you want, visit spiritual-d.com. Our call is at 312-898-2285. We are going to take a short break, and we will be back after this.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritual-d.com.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Hi, this is Ted Winslow, founder of SoundSync Tech, the next generation of sound healing frequency technologies. I'm excited to join Dr. Bree Gibbs, host of the Silver Gaia radio show on Transformation Talk Radio. And as a show of appreciation to all the listeners, I'm offering 20% off my sound healing music. Please go to tedwinslow.com and use the coupon code SilverGaia. Looking forward to connecting with you soon.
Tune in to the Psychic Professors Show, The Voices of Spirit Radio, with international medium and spirit artist Dr. Susan Barnes on Transformation Talk Radio, featuring a variety of spiritual topics such as psychic art, spiritualism, EVP, psychic development, and mediumship. This hit call-in show provides listeners with breakthrough wisdom to enliven and enlighten their lives. Visit spiritartgallery.net for show days and times.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
And we are back talking about divorcing the past. So for those of you who have been listening, if you'd like to give us a call after the show, please do so at 312-898-2285. That's 312-898-2285. Or log on to our site, spiritual-d.com. You know, in today's show, we've covered different portions of self that are ready to move forward. Some of us being ready to move forward in our mind and in our spirit, but the aura not supporting that. Some people who are actually, the aura is actually ready for that, and the mind or maybe the spirit is not supporting the aura's healing. So it's all about wholeness, and it's all about being in sync, in one accord with yourself, the mind, the body, the spirit, your chakras, your aura, each portion of self facilitating and supporting what it is that you desire in your life. The healing that you desire, the outcomes that you desire, the relationship that you desire, the work that you desire, the career you desire, the connections to family that you desire. When the past is so present, it creates a stagnant energy field around the aura that is not allowing that newness to come in. And that's where that energy must become severed and disconnected. But it's very important to know what portion of self is holding on to the past. What portion of yourself is resisting the newness, the peace, and the happiness that you actually desire. And some of you who are listening to this, you might be saying, why would I resist something good? Why would I resist what it is that I actually want? And I cannot stress enough that it's not to say that your mind is saying, I'm not going to allow it. But sometimes that portion of the spiritual body is blocking it due to the trauma or the experiences that you have endured that you have not filtered out. And filtering out that type of energy is so important. Whatever it is that you've experienced in your past, even if it was something extremely negative and you find yourself looking back at it and saying, I can't even see any good that came from that. I can't see a learned lesson. I can't see anything. I mean, yes, I may be stronger, but I just cannot see anything that has come from that I need. Or there's those of you who say, well, I've already got the lesson, so why am I repeating it? No matter which person you are out of the two types that I have described, it comes down to every situation that you experience. Your aura is meant to receive a lesson, receive an experience, receive a little map of evolving through the experience that you take forward with you, and filter out after you receive whatever you are meant to receive from that. You are meant to filter out the residuals that experience has left behind. But sometimes something happens in that auric field, in the mind or in the spirit, in one or more portions of self that are not filtering out energy in the way that it needs to be filtered out. And when that happens, it is very important to discover why it's happening. And when you discover why it's happening and you work to releasing it and then protecting your energy field, those are the steps to divorcing the past. So to divorce the past, you must come to a place that all portions of self are in agreement that this contract is over, this is terminated, I am ready to move forward. And then the next step is all portions of self through the mind, body, and spirit, receiving the message and embracing it, filtering out the past residuals of the experience, embracing what is new by making room for it first. We have to make room for it. And then we help you to put up protection around your aura, guiding you to the mantras and the meditation that you need individually for your aura and to sustain the decisions that you've made and to see your contract through of divorcing the past, to see yourself through for ending some contracts. So I was working with a lady, a wonderful, wonderful lady from San Francisco. And she was at a place in her life so ready to move forward, so ready to let that new relationship in. And she had entered the new relationship with a clear mind and a clear spirit. But her aura had been so used to experiencing the negative pattern of disappointment and being dominated by male energy. She would just go through these relationships where she kept describing to me, she'd say, Carol, I just feel like whenever I'm in a relationship, male energy becomes very dominating, taking away my voice, taking away my opinion. And she was like, I want to clear myself from that. We had done some work. We tapped into the portion of her aura that she was susceptible to that type of energy because of her paternal connection to her father that had weakened her aura and subjected her to that early on. We cleared out that energy. We had identified exactly that it came from the type of connection she had with her father. And once we cleared that out of the aura, she entered into the new relationship and she was like, but I've done this so aware and present. I'm not focusing on the past, but I see it going down the same pattern. And that is where we also had to go in. We worked on the aura, and then we started to release the residuals that the block had left behind. Sometimes even in people who have done Reiki, done auric healing, done certain types of meditation and healing work, had it done by spiritual practitioners or themselves, there's a little bit of residual that's left behind. Once you find the root, the origin, the genesis of that energy, and have it cleared and clear the residual and seal that portion, the mind, the body, and the spirit start to agree in one endeavor of wholeness, sending out that vibration to the universe that allows you to manifest the love, the peace, and the happiness that you truly desire. For those of you who have been listening, I'd like to send you all out love, light, and blessings. We will be open to talk to everyone after the show. 312-898-2285. Thank you for listening. Namaste.
You've been listening to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio, Psychic Answers and Spiritual Solutions with Carol Dorian and Justice Welling, diagnosing the spiritual cause of unwanted life patterns. For more information on your favorite healers, visit spirituald.com and tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio to receive your weekly dose of enlightenment.